Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani. Today's video is going to be on blood sugar and sweet cravings. Why do I have sweet cravings? What does it mean? And how do I fix it? We're going to dive in. And before we do, please smash that like button. Really appreciate it. Put your comments down below. Let me know things you've already done in the past to help improve your sweet cravings. Would love to get a little more insight on what y'all was doing and what's working for you. So first off, first thing is when we have sweet cravings is we have to make sure that we are fat adapted or keto adapted, right? Ketones are these fatty acid metabolites. So you have these free fatty acids and a glycerol backbone, and those free fatty acids get converted into ketones, which are fatty acid metabolites that get burnt for fuel. They're a great fuel source. So number one, ketones, they have an appetite suppressing effect to it. So the more we become keto adapted or fat adapted, our appetites are more in check because ketones keep our appetite under control. Number two, things like fats and proteins, because typically fats and proteins are consumed together. It's very rare that someone's on a super high fat diet and no protein. It's very rare. Usually there's some good protein in there, at least moderate amounts of protein. It's going to have very good satiating effects. So foods like fats and proteins produce different neuropeptides like peptide YY, adiponectin, cholecystokinin. These are all and they also keep our blood sugar relatively stable. So the more our blood sugar kind of snakes along throughout the day, the less cravings we have, okay? The more our blood sugar goes up and down this reactive hypoglycemic roller coaster, we make more insulin at the top, which then drops our blood sugar low, and we make more cortisol and adrenaline to lift it back up. So we're on this high and low. And when our hormones insulin, we start making a lot more fat, right, called lipogenesis. And then when we make a lot more adrenaline, we make a lot more cortisol, and these things can create cravings. So we do not want to be on a blood sugar roller coaster. We want to snake our blood sugar along. We want to be more keto adapted, fat adapted, so we make more of these neuropeptides that have satiating effects to it. That's very important. That sets the foundation. Now, outside of that, we need to make sure we're also consuming enough calories per day. Now, calories are just an easy way to look at energy from food. It does not look at nutrients from foods. When I mean calories, I'm talking also about getting enough nutrients. So whole nutrient dense paleo kind of template foods that are also going to have adequate amounts of calories. Yes, it's possible to consume a lot of calories and not a lot of nutrients, i.e. refined sugar, processed grains, sodas, soft drinks, alcohol, a lot of calories, not a lot of nutrients. So when we talk about the word calorie is going to include nutrient-dense calories, so there's nutrition alongside of it. That's important because your brain is registering vitamins and minerals and enough protein and fats. It's looking to make sure there's enough of these nutrients there. If you're eating foods that are high calorie and not enough B vitamins or magnesium, guess what? You may still have cravings. So you have to make sure first check that you're checking off is, am I consuming enough nutrient-dense calories? First check. Second check is there enough of these nutrients, B vitamins and minerals and all these things? So organic kind of whole foods are going to be big. Third thing is going to be essential fatty acids, good fats. Are we eating really good, clean fats? Healthy, at least half your fat should be at least saturated. So like coconut oil, grass-fed butter, grass-fed meats, right? High quality egg yolks, like really good, healthy fats. They have a lot of fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A, D, E, and K. And then long-chain fatty acids such as EPA and DHA fish oil. And then we have our medium chain, which is like more of our coconut oil. And then our shorter chains, butyric acid, more like butter and those kind of things. So we want really good, healthy fats. We also want good amino acids. So good, healthy proteins, especially animal proteins, are going to have our 8 essential amino acids. Essential amino acids mean our body cannot make them. Essential fatty acids mean our body cannot make those fats. No such thing as an essential carbohydrate, all right? Your body can use ketones as a fuel source. Maybe you need 20 grams a day, max. That's not a lot, right? So in general, no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. There are such things as essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. So think about that. So make most of the foods come from these foods that are more essential, right? They're things your body cannot make and cannot go without. So very, very important. Now, why do you have a lot of sugar cravings? First thing I tell patients is, well, sugar is going to increase the flood of dopamine and serotonin across the blood-brain barrier. So you're going to feel really good. Now, I always talk about destructive and constructive vehicles to building up your neurotransmitters. So the more destructive vehicles you have, like cocaine, stimulants, Adderall, sugar. You're increasing neurotransmitters in the short term, but you're depleting it in the long term, right? The analogy is it's like you got your credit card, you don't have enough money in the bank, but you buy this expensive watch or phone or whatever, you know you can't afford it. You get it now, but you know when the bill comes due next month, you're going to be in debt or you're going to take a big ding on your credit score. It's kind of like that. So you want to choose constructive vehicles, i.e., oh, I'm going to consume this healthy grass-fed meat or this healthy bit of turkey because it's loaded with L-tryptophan, which will convert to 5-HTP and serotonin. So we want to have building blocks for a lot of our brain chemicals. And guess what? All of our brain chemicals are made from amino acids primarily. And essential fatty acids play a big role of the solid component of our brain, right? Essential fatty acids and cholesterol play a big role in what that solid part of our brain is. So you eat the, whatever you're made out of internally, right? Neurotransmitter and structural brain tissue. You want to make sure you're consuming those building blocks. That's very, very important, right? These building blocks are so important that our body will actually use carbohydrate and it can convert carbohydrate to cholesterol. That's how important cholesterol is. So really, make sure you remember that these building blocks are very important. Also, things like grains and casein, they can get converted into gluteodimorphins or prodynorphins or caseomorphins. These are opiate-like receptors. So they bind in the receptor site and they have that opiate-like good feeling. And so it's very easy to be addicted to these foods. I have patients, people tell me all the time, well, I can't eat this way. I can't do this. It's not enough foods. It's like, well, let's look at what you're actually eating now. Oh, interesting. Processed grains here, processed grains there, processed sugar there. You're eating the same food. It's just packaged in a different way, right? Pop-Tarts, the chips, to pretzels, to whatever, right? It's just in a different medium. It's the same thing. And it's very easy. If you don't see the link, it's very easy to miss that and say, I need all this variety. It's like, well, you can choose lots of different vegetables and fruits and fats and proteins. There's still a lot of variety there. But when you actually look at when people are addicted to on the standard American diet, it's the same stuff in a different form, right? It's your soda and your high fructose corn syrup in lots of different forms. It's your processed grains and acellular refined carbohydrates in different forms. It's the same thing. People need to understand these foods are very addicting. They're designed that way to make it hard for you to get off. And it's always hard when you've been a sugar burner for a while and your blood sugar is like this. Guess what? It's hard to make that transition and to become a fat burner. It takes a couple of weeks to a month, and you may feel like crap in the meantime. It's called the keto flu. It's possible because you're making a big metabolic shift in your metabolic machinery to go from being a sugar burner to be a fat burner, and that can be a little bit tough. So you have to know that. If you have the insight, then you're there, right? I always tell patients it takes no more effort to get what you want than to get what you don't want. It's all a habit. Once a habit is formed, it's no more extra effort to do the wrong thing than the right thing because you got a habit out of it. So you have to understand it's like training wheels. In the beginning, it's going to be a little bit hard, but just know that won't last. And if you have the insight that it won't last, then you're on the right track. Now, there are extra things that we can do to help with cravings. We can give extra B vitamins. We can give extra magnesium. We can give extra amino acids. I have a product over here that I use called Brain Replete that has a lot of amino acids, serotonin and dopamine and extra Bs in there that are very helpful and can really increase the building blocks for your brain chemicals, serotonin and dopamine, in a constructive way. Remember earlier we talked about constructive and destructive vehicles? Constructive vehicles are going to be amino acids and B vitamin. B6 is so important for the synthesis of your neurochemicals. We want to make sure all of those nutrients are there and dialed in. It really, really makes a huge difference in helping you perform well and giving you the building blocks to make what you need. So again, I always test patients. I look at their adrenals and their hormones. I also look at their neurotransmitters, serotonin and dopamine and B6 and B vitamins. We'll look at the gut too, because if you have poor digestion, low stomach acid, gut infection, SIBO, H. pylori, it's possible you may not be breaking down your fatty acids and your amino acids well. And that could create a bottleneck in those nutrients getting into your bloodstream and becoming the raw material for your brain chemicals or your brain tissue. So we got to look at the gut too. So if you want to reach in down below, you can click and schedule a consult with myself or my colleagues if you want to dive in deeper and work on getting to the root cause of your potential craving issues. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Let's dive into some live questions for y'all. Okay, I'm going to try to stick to questions that are related to today's video. Doctor, is night sleep help in lowering cortisol, detoxification, reducing inflammation compared to sleeping in the day? Yes. I mean, anytime you sleep at night, there's a natural circadian rhythm, and that circadian rhythm is light and dark driven. And so when it's dark at night, you're going to make more melatonin. There's a natural growth hormone surge between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. that helps your body heal and recover. There's also a psychogenic repair where you're turning over your neurotransmitters, helping your brain and neurotransmitters heal at night as well. That's going to be the most effective time to do it. Even the WHO has kind of ranked shift work as a non-substance carcinogen in the same category as cigarettes and asbestos. So it's very important that you get to sleep with the sun. I notice if I go totally low carb, my glucose readings will go higher than normal in the 90s. When I eat a little bit of carbs, it comes back down to the 80s and 90s. Why? Yeah, it's a great question. So some people, I always recommend starting lower carb, but some people at some point, they may feel good adding a little bit of safer carbs in there, safer starches in there. Why? It could be that there's some level of a stress response happening, and adding a little bit more carbs actually blunts that gluconeogenic stress response, and you're consuming less glucose than your body would make as a response. So for instance, if some kind of your body wants a little more carbs, it's willing to make more carbohydrate than if you take a little bit less in, it'd be happy with that. Meaning your body will make more than you could consume in. So if you consume 10 grams of carbs less, it may make imagine you make 20 grams of glucose here, but you consume 10 over here, and that blunts this 20 grams from being produced, right? And that can happen. That's called gluconeogenesis. Now, it's normal to have gluconeogenesis working, but sometimes for some people, you may overshoot your blood glucose levels naturally, and some people do better with a little bit of carbs, and that will actually blunt what your body would make. You take in less than what your body would make. And it's good to do blood sugar testing. You can do a functional glucose tolerance, a fasting, a 1 hour, a 2 hour, and a 3 hour. Pick a couple of random meals a week and do a fasting 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. We want it to go zero. Fasting, we want to be below 100. At 1 hour, between 120 and 140 is fine. At 2 hours, below 100, or 120 to 100 is fine. And then at 3 hours, definitely below 100. So that's like having the snake, right? The flatter the snake is, the less insulin we're making. The more wavy that snake is, the more insulin and cortisol we're making. Does that make sense? Hope so. Is there a cheaper test that we can know what our mineral levels are looking like? I mean, organic acid test is going to be okay. Your best for minerals are going to be like a good quality ion panel or Nutri-Eval or SpectraCell. I read taking adrenal supplements is a bad idea for people who have been on inhalers for asthma. Is there a reason for that? I mean, it depends what you mean by adrenal supplements. If they have high amounts of cortisol, usually people that they're on steroids, they tend to have not a good internal production of steroids because their body has kind of shut down the feedback loops, and they're relying a lot on the steroids they're taking internally. And so the key is you have to figure out why the inflammation's there, and you're needing the artificial steroids. Most of the time when you can get the inflammation down, whether it's food-based or gut-based or environmental-based by doing sinus rinses or getting good air filtration or cleaning out mold, now that stress isn't there and your body's not going to be as stressed. And you can also do natural antihistamines to help as well. So it just depends. Jay, I'm on keto. My fasting blood glucose has been 100 lately. They actually seem to drop when I add in some carbs. Is this because of the chronic low insulin gluconeogenesis? Yep, it's exactly what I just mentioned. And if you do good with that, that's fine. All right, very good. Excellent. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So in general, get fat adapted. Once you're fat adapted and you're feeling good, you may be able to add a little bit more carbs. And again, I say carbs as like safer starchy carbs. These are like starches that are grain-free. So not like your wheat and your rice, but things like sweet potato, squash, maybe some white potato, maybe some yucca, maybe some greener bananas, maybe some steamed carrots, right? And then, of course, we have our non-starchy vegetables, very low amount of carbs there. And then we have our fruit, and try to consume fruit that's lower in sugar. Berries, green apples, lemon, lime are always good things out of the gates. But getting the cravings under control is big, and if you can't do it out of the gates, seek a good functional medicine practitioner to work on it. You may need extra supplements, you may need extra nutrients, you may need to work on the adrenals, especially if you've been on stimulants in the past. You may have really burnt out a lot of your brain chemicals, and that may be a very important next step. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Click down below if you want to reach out. Thumbs up, like, and share. Really appreciate it, y'all. You guys take care. Bye now.